I'm going to open it up to the councilors. And I'm just asking for a respectful, collaborative engagement with the school people. We all have the same ultimate goal, I believe, is to see things get better and to eliminate the issues that we're dealing with currently. Councilor Cannon, your hand was up first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Dr. Tremblay. It's good to have you here. Chair Barnhill, it's great to have you. And thank you to, I think, nearly the entirety of the school committee for being here. I know we're all on the same page about the stewardship of our schools and the care of our students, and you're charged with these responsibilities. And I think they're far greater than the responsibilities that we're charged with. And I'm glad that you referenced collaboration and this open community-wide discussion about this important issue. I got to tell you, though, I think there is a continuing delta between, Dr. Tremblay, your words and the execution that we see of those words or that mission in our schools. When we had this conversation in February, I felt okay after it. I felt we were going to have an ongoing dialogue, less so with the council, but more openness to the community about what's going on and what's happening. And I thought when we had left that conversation, you were going to proactively keep the council as a courtesy, not in any formal oversight capacity, because we don't have that. I don't want to go down that road. But as a courtesy, in the loop on the progress that was being made with violence in our schools and on our buses. We haven't received any of that communication. And we haven't received any communication from you saying, this is why I'm not doing what we talked about. So it's disappointing also that, when I thought agreed at that meeting that we were going to do this again some months later, and here we are. I thought there was agreement to come back, but your reply to the council's invitation was one that declined. You were able to dial in from wherever you were the following night at the school committee meeting, but it was pretty clear that you weren't going to come here. We had to, and you're the second person in the history of the community, compel the force of law or execute or undertake the force of law to compel you to be here tonight to talk about this issue that I think is the most important in our community, and I think others share that opinion. So I'm troubled that if we can't get the information that we are, have some oversight responsibility with our roles in what we do with the budget and whatnot, if we can't get this, and I frankly feel the school committee doesn't get as much information as they should about these matters, how does a parent who is writing, I'm sorry, I see school committee member in the back, I would just caution you because there are a lot of you here, you haven't posted a meeting, so just a friendly word of caution there. We did invite you. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to let you run the meeting, but I'm going to continue my comments and ask a couple of questions. I feel today, when we had that meeting, the comments that I got from parents were even more, desperate's the wrong word, but desperate in the context of, my kid's got one shot at 5th grade. And my kid's got one shot at freshman year in high school. And my kid at the high school avoids the cafeteria because of the fights that are a regular occurrence. And it almost feels that in our, we had the conversation with you about some event in the high school. And then it was, well, there's some limited issues in the high school. And then it became clear that they were in our middle schools and in our elementary schools. The more we peel back the layers, the worse it seems to get. And I just don't have confidence. It almost feels like, disguised as empowering leadership in the building to handle an issue, issues that should be reported to the school committee, to you, to the community, and certainly to us, are almost brushed under the rug. And it seems calculated. So I don't know what's kept from the school committee, but help me understand, how do you decide on what's reported to the school committee and what's not? Help me understand why you gave us I thought, a commitment to come to our meeting, but wouldn't until we employed law to compel you, to require you to be here. I thought we had a more collaborative, spirited relationship. And just help me understand that criteria of I'm just tired of getting the calls from so many different people who say, Mike, my kid is beaten regularly by the same kid who's it's an ongoing thing, and my kid has to sit through these humiliating restorative justice conversations and nothing changes. I don't want to talk about the specific issues, but there seem to be a lot of things, a lot of cases that we don't hear about. Not that we should, but they shouldn't happen. And if there's a matter where you're tied with constraints within the law, we've got a really effective delegation on Beacon Hill. Where is the ask to them to, hey, we need you to make this change to the law? Because everybody in this room wants to collaborate meaningfully for people to be successful and for people to be safe. I don't know how you learn if you don't feel safe, and I don't know how you teach if you don't feel safe. And this whole conversation, we shouldn't be having this conversation. We should be having conversations about performance, because there are some real concerns there too. But we're not even going to get to that tonight because it's so rightfully overshadowed by ongoing and worsening violence. So I'm throwing a lot at you. I just kind of want some meaningful details. You're very good with the one-on-one, and you've always been very accessible one-on-one. But these are issues that require more community-wide transparency.